You know, when we think about African leaders, it's easy to slip into a serious mindset. I mean, they're often portrayed as these larger-than-life figures, right? But let's take a step back and look at them through a comedic lens. Because let's be real, if you can't laugh at the absurdities of life, what's the point? So, let's dive into the world of African leaders with a touch of humor, shall we? First off, you've got your classic, the president is always right trope. You know the type, the leader who can do no wrong, even when they clearly just tripped over their own shoelaces while trying to make a grand entrance. Picture it, a press conference, the cameras are rolling, and there he goes, strutting in like he's about to drop the hottest mixtape of the year, and then, bam, down he goes. But what does he say? I meant to do that, just testing the ground for stability. You've got to admire that quick thinking. I mean, if I fell like that, I'd probably just lie there and hope for a miracle. And then there's the whole I'm a man of the people act. You ever notice how some leaders will go to extreme lengths to show they're just like you and me? They'll roll up their sleeves, put on a baseball cap, and hit the streets, shaking hands like they're running for prom king. But let's be honest, you know they've got security detail hovering around like they're in a Secret Service movie. Oh, look at me, I'm just like you. I drink tea from a plastic cup. Meanwhile, the tea is probably imported from the fanciest place in the world. And that plastic cup is a limited edition. Now, let's talk about the speeches. Oh, the speeches. You've got leaders who can turn a simple announcement into a 3-hour epic saga. Today, I stand before you to discuss the future of our nation. But first, let me tell you about my childhood pet, a parrot named Mango, who taught me the value of loyalty. And you're sitting there thinking, what does this have to do with anything? By the time they finally get to the point, you've aged a decade. You're like, was Mango the one who inspired the national budget? Because I'm confused. And how about the classic let's build a monument move? You know the one. A leader decides that the best way to leave a legacy is to erect a massive statue of themselves in the capital. This will remind future generations of my greatness, they declare. Meanwhile, the people are like, can we get some roads first? Or maybe a hospital? But no, they'd rather have a 30-foot statue of themselves striking a pose like they're auditioning for a superhero movie. Look at me, I'm the savior of our nation. And you know that statue is going to be the most photographed thing in the country, right next to the local food market. Speaking of food, let's not forget the culinary tours. You ever notice how leaders love to showcase their nation's cuisine? They'll take you on a tour of every local dish, from the spiciest pepper soup to the most elaborate jollof rice. This is our national dish. It represents unity, they proclaim, while you're just trying to figure out how to eat it without setting your mouth on fire. And then there's always that one dish that's so exotic, it sounds like a spell from Harry Potter. And over here we have the wombo combo of wondrous whiskers. It's a delicacy. You're left thinking, is it food or a potion? Because I'm not sure I want to find out. Let's not skip over the fashion choices either. African leaders often have a flair for the dramatic when it comes to their wardrobes. You've got the traditional attire, which can range from stunning to utterly bewildering. Look at my outfit. It's a symbol of our rich heritage, they say, while you're trying to figure out how many animals had to be sacrificed for that ensemble. And then there's the bling. Oh, the bling. You know they've got a whole room dedicated to their collection of watches, rings, and maybe even a gold-plated microphone for when they want to drop some bars. I'm not just a leader, I'm a style icon. And you're left wondering if you should take notes or just stick to your jeans and t-shirt. And let's talk about the press conferences again. You ever notice how some leaders can dodge questions like they're in the Olympics? Mr. President, what are you doing about the economy? Ah, yes, the economy. But let's talk about the beautiful sunsets we have in our country. It's like they've got a PhD in deflection. You're sitting there watching this circus thinking, wow, I didn't know I signed up for a masterclass in avoiding accountability. And of course, we can't forget the international summits. You know, ones where leaders gather to discuss serious issues but end up taking selfies like they're at a music festival. Let's solve world hunger, they say, while simultaneously posting on Instagram with the hashtag #LeadersUnite. And you know that one leader is going to photobomb every single picture, arms wide open like he's just won the lottery. Look at me, I'm here for world peace. Meanwhile, half the world is just trying to figure out how to pay rent. So as we look at the comedic portrayals of African leaders, let's remember that behind the grand speeches, the monuments and the bling, there's a human side. They're trying to navigate a complex world, just like the rest of us. And if they can make us laugh along the way, then maybe, just maybe, they're doing something right. Because at the end of the day, laughter is universal, and it's one of the best ways to connect us all.